Hello again, everyone. I'm Paul the Nitro Scholars, and welcome to this edition of the Nitro Corner. Today is Friday, and it's time to begin part one of the weekend report. But before we start that, I want to take this opportunity to do something. I recently got a message on my Facebook page from a good friend of ours, Mr. Brute Force of First State Championship Wrestling, and he wanted me to do something special for a special someone, a wrestling fan that is going through a kidney transplant. So I'll be more than glad to do this. His name is Michael Maurice, and he's getting ready to have a kidney transplant. So on behalf of everyone here at the Nitro Corner, we send out our prayers for a speedy recovery. And Michael, this whole weekend, that's right, this whole weekend of the Nitro Corner is dedicated to you. So hope you enjoy it this weekend. I might have something a little interesting, a little interactive between you and I, probably tomorrow. Just so keep tuning in tomorrow for the second part of the weekend report. So this entire weekend of the Nitro Corner is dedicated to Michael Maurice. So let's get started. I'll get started with the Nitro Opinion at the end of the broadcast. A very interesting piece of news that came up this week. I'll give you my opinion about it. But first, we begin with the Raw report with CM Punk's first promo since coming back from since returning to Raw last week. CM Punk made a real interesting point, saying he's going to bring fun back into professional wrestling. I like that. I like the fact that it's time to bring back some excitement to the world of professional wrestling, and I think First State Championship Wrestling does that, but I hope CM Punk does that for the WWE, and I know he has the capabilities of doing such things. So, and in essence brings out Triple H, who decides that he's the status quo and that personal feelings aside, he was the one that signed CM Punk. Ooh, he puts his personal feelings aside. So CM Punk calls him upon it. And like, what are these personal feelings you have, Hunter? Hunter's like, he didn't like CM Punk's arrogance or attitude about the entire situation in the way he treated the WWE title. And that if he had the chance, he would slap the tattoos off of CM Punk. Oh, really? So CM Punk calls him to task, saying that Triple H is nothing more than a bully. And that's all he is. He's a career politician, like I've always said before, and I'll say it again. Triple H is nothing more than a career politician, and CM Punk certainly took him to task on that. Next up, Beth Phoenix wins a number one contenders battle royal and decides to turn heel by attacking Kelly Kelly. She has made it crystal clear that she wants the Divas Championship. It should be real interesting to see how Kelly Kelly will face the big challenge, literally, of Beth Phoenix. Next up, The Miz teamed up with R-Truth to score a victory over Rey Mysterio and John Morrison. It seems like the Miz R-Truth tag team is gaining some heat over the past couple of weeks, and the dichotomy, the contrast between the crazy R-Truth and the self-centered Miz seems to be working out pretty well as a tag team unit. Next up, Dolph Ziggler and Vicky Guerrero come out there running their mouths, talking about how they're so great and how they're the United States champion and that they're going to make an impact. Well, the A-Rye, Alex Riley, has something different to say about that, and he says Ziggler should stop hiding behind the skirt of Vicky Guerrero and be a man and challenge him for the U.S. title. Well, it led to an altercation, and A-Rye took care of business and got rid of Ziggler and the loudmouth Vicky Guerrero. Excuse me, whatever, Vicky, whatever. Next up, David Ortunga and Michael McGillicuddy defeated Zack Ryder and Santino Marella in a non-title match. It seems like even though Ortunga and McGillicuddy are the tag team champions, they're probably the most ignored tag team champions in WWE history, and that's a shame. They're two great pieces of talent. Next up, Alberto Del Rio defeated Evan Bourne, and in the process may have caused damage to Evan Bourne's arm thanks to that cross arm breaker. Kofi Kingston immediately broke up the incident, but in the end of the day, Alberto Del Rio's made it clear now he wants the WWE title, whether people like it or not. And then in the finale, John Cena, the Kool-Aid drinker, comes out there and says, after being taunted by John Laurinaitis, who wanted him to be stripped of the WWE Championship. John Cena wanted to punch him in his mouth. Wow. Oh, he shows some backbone. Wow. First off, let me explain something to you people about John Laurinaitis. As I mentioned before, the only reason why he got a job and that high of a position in the WWE is because he's Road Warrior Animal's brother. He is Road Warrior Animal's brother. That's the only reason why he is now the VP of Talent Relations. Oh, nice dig, John and JR. Yeah, I took over your job, pal. Yeah, you can kiss my rear end on that, too, John. And then Mr. Kool-Aid Drinker, wow, the guy now shows some backbone. He wants to knock out John Laurinaitis. Laurinaitis leaves the ring, though, before Cena has a chance. You should have pulled the trigger, Cena. Well, unfortunately, at the end of the day, CM Punk comes out there and calls John Cena to the task for not doing that, and says that he is the WWE Champion, and rightly so. He beat John Cena at Money in the Bank. Clear cut, no questions asked. Well, Triple H comes out there, the career politician. I got to solve this problem. So anyway, at the end of the day, Triple H announces that CM Punk will meet John Cena at SummerSlam for the undisputed WWE title. Can we say that it's been a recycled name since WrestleMania X7 when Triple H defeated Chris Jericho to become the undisputed WWE champion? Hello, there's your contrast right there, and that ended Raw for this week. Once again, kind of a lackluster show, but CM Punk basically saved it once again with his promos, calling him up to task, making CM Punk, in my opinion, replacing Mr. Anderson. Though Mr. Anderson has made a comeback as of late, but CM Punk is still the best promo man in professional wrestling today. And that is the Raw Report. Moving on now to the Impact Report this week. It starts with Immortal in the ring, while Mr. Anderson and Bully Ray had their confrontation. Bully Ray calling Mr. Anderson a loser for losing the cage match last week. But Anderson pointed out, you volunteered me. Excuse me. You volunteered me for this, Bully Ray. I didn't ask for it. You volunteered me for it. Great job. And then he cuts into a Meatloaf song. That's very original. Although Bully Ray ended that by spitting in Anderson's face. Here comes the fight between the two. And then Fortune comes out there and says that they were not invited to the fight, so they'll invite themselves. It turned out to be a brawl. Very interesting note, James Storm injured his back during that altercation. That would come back to haunt Beer Money later on in the show. Then Impact moved on to the first contest as Miss Tessmacher, one half of the new Knockouts Tag Team Champions, defeated Madison Rayne in a mild upset this week. Unfortunately, Madison Rayne jumped Miss Tessmacher from behind after the match. Mickie James, who was doing commentary, decided that was enough. She tried to go out there only to be blindsided by Angelina Love and Winner, who laid her out with the championship belt. I expect a major blowout between Winner and Angelina Love versus Mickie James in the near future for that Knockouts Championship. Next up, in a Bound for Glory Series match, and in an upset, in my opinion, Brother Devon defeated AJ Styles with a simple roll-up and a 1-2-3. He gained 7 points in the Bound for Glory Series. Oh, and by the way, on a note for the Bound for Glory Series, because of injury, Matt Morgan is now out of the Bound for Glory series. His 24 points immediately disqualified. He is now out of the Bound for Glory series. That means everyone else from the bottom moves up a spot, including Brother Devon, who picked up those 7 points. Next up, Samoa Joe thought he defeated Julio De Niro, defeated the Pope D'Angelo De Niro, via submission to gain 10 points. Finally, 10 points on the board. He didn't release the hold after the referee told him to, so the ref had no other choice but to ring a ding ding, disqualify Joe for not releasing the hold. 3 points for the Pope, and Samoa Joe not too happy, saying that the office is not office is preventing Samoa Joe from becoming champion because they know the character he is. We'll just have to see what happens in the near future with that as well. Next up, a street fight as Hernandez of Mexican American defeated Robert Roode. Of course, the injured back of James Storm came to play as he was attacked from behind by Anaconda, the tag team partner of Hernandez. Excuse me. And Hernandez took advantage of that, using the ropes in a roll-up to beat Robert Roode in the street fight. Next up, the X Division title was on the line thanks to a brainbuster. Austin Aries successfully defends his title, beating Alex Shelley of the Motor City Machine Guns. Next up, in a Bound for Glory Series tag team matchup, Crimson and RVD score a win over Scott Steiner and Gunner as Rob Van Dam beats Scott Steiner, picking him up 7 points in the standings. Rob Van Dam now moves to second place in the Bound for Glory series. Of course, Crimson's still the man on top, but his lead has diminished to a mere 5 points between him and RVD. We'll just have to see what happens down the road with the Bound for Glory series as it's near its windup for this series. And finally, Sting and Angle signed their contract for their meeting coming up at Hardcore Justice, coming up this Sunday on pay-per-view. Both men showed respect for each other. It should be an outstanding contest between those two men. And that ended Impact for this week. Overall, pretty good show this week. Excuse me. For the Bound for Glory series matches this week, really shaping up now for the top 4 in the Bound for Glory series. The Sting Angle contract signing, etc., etc. was all a great show. Now it's time for the Nitro Opinion. And today's Nitro Opinion is based on a story that was recently found in the PWRshow.com. Damian Nelson reporting that 4 talent was released from the WWE. They are as follows. Vladimir Kozlov, the tag team partner of Santino Marella, was released this past week. I don't know what Kozlov would do in the WWE since he's been mired in that tag team with Santino. Even though they were the tag team champions, I think Kozlov's style just did not fit in the WWE. Chris Masters was another one that got released this week. Chris Masters, the master of course, the Full Nelson, the Master Lock. I think his best days are behind him, and that was in 2005 in the WWE. Excuse me. And in a shocker, as far as I'm concerned, Melina was released by the WWE. I don't know why. She just lost a Divas tag match. I know that much, but I don't really understand what the reasoning was for firing Melina, although I heard some rumors and I won't get into it. Some good, some bad about Melina, but Melina is a talent in the WWE, and releasing her may end up biting the WWE on their rear end. And David Hart Smith was also released. They didn't do much with him either with his team with Tyson Kidd before they split up. And because of all that, those 4 were originally released. But there's one more that was released this week, and that was an hour after Monday Night Raw. Gail Kim twittered on her account that she had officially quit the WWE. So that's the 5th person that has left the WWE. I think Gail Kim may have been lost in the mire of the talent in the Divas division, or maybe she may be going back to TNA Impact. Who knows what's going to happen? So, on behalf of the Nitro Corner, we wish all 5 of these individuals the best of luck in their future endeavors. And that is it for part 1 of this edition of the Weekend Report. Tomorrow, part 2 of the Nitro Corner, featuring the SmackDown Report, as well as the Nitro Top 10. And a programming note, this Sunday is a special Sunday, not only the classic match of the week, but the booking sheet for Hardcore Justice this Sunday. Until then, we hope you enjoyed the video, Mr. Michael Maurice, and we wish you the best of luck, of course, in the kidney transplant. As I mentioned, this weekend is dedicated to you. Until next time, as part of the Michael Maurice Nitro Corner Weekend, I am Paul the Nitro Skyver saying, so long everybody. Send your thoughts and prayers for Mr. Maurice to have a successful kidney transplant. So long everybody.